All right. Well, good Monday evening, everyone. The Hammer here along with Tiffany. Tiffany, my friend, how are you this evening?
I am good despite the meltdown over the weekend. How are you?
About the same. We'll get to it in a minute, but the collapse of really not just the baseball team, but kind of our athletics as a whole right now. The inexplicable collapse in second halves and back halves and final outs and final innings is a
Last
study
strike.
for somebody.
How to be done?
I really, I mean, we can, keep beating the same dead horse if it's a young team, it's a first year coach. Goodness gracious, there's got to be something going on though. It's got to be more than just that. And so maybe we'll maybe dig into a little bit, touch on some things that possibly could be causing some of these issues. But my goodness, we find ourselves once again on the wrong end of a rubber match. And this one really, I mean, we've had some collapses. We've had some wheels fall off the wagon. This one was inexplicable on Sunday. Like, for the life of me, we couldn't get one out.
One strike. We needed one more strike.
I mean, yeah, not even a full out. We just needed a strike. We needed somebody to swing at a ball and not hit it. That's how far we were away from potentially winning just our second series of the season, unfortunately.
Yeah. Or Marin to hold on to the ball at second
or
base.
just hold on to a ball. Yeah. Anyway, so can't imagine anybody that would be watching wouldn't know this, but Tennessee ends up dropping the series to LSU on Sunday in a ridiculous 10-run extra inning affair for the Tigers. And I mean, where do we go from here? Because we get we'll bounce all over the place here a little bit, but we get Northern Kentucky, whom we faced in a we faced before. We're 4-0 against them. We faced them in a regional. We faced them to start off, or faced them midweek last year, in fact, and that was a close game, 7-5. But we've never lost to Northern Kentucky. We're perfect 8-0 in midweek games, and we seem to even start, pretty well in some of these weekend series and conference play. But Tiff, we've only won one series in the SEC. And then we get just Jim pitching out of Mojo is just forever got apple cider ingrained in my brain. Appenzeller. And we've had some just fantastic individual performances from some of the guys, in the field, at the plate, on the mound. And then we have what happened Sunday, and we have what happened against Vanderbilt. And
what happened Friday.
And Friday, exactly.
Friday was bad too. That was a lost to a grand slam when we had the lead too.
Like how many times are we going to face this? And the whole Peabody thing, I mean, they walked us off 3 straight games.
We lost in a 7-day stretch. There was 3 grand slams, Sunday, Friday, Sunday, to beat us. That's rough too. So
I don't think I've ever seen this apocalyptic type meltdown. Really, anything. Major league, college, T-ball, coach pitch, backyard wiffle ball. Like this is almost just. It's almost comical. If it happened to anybody else, it'd be hilarious. But it's happening to us.
Yeah, I mean, Vandy, I feel like Elander needed to take some responsibility there. He made some bad decisions, I think, leaving guys in too long. But I feel like the LSU series, he got it together. I do think Friday, he left Arvidsson in too long. I was actually there. It was my first time experiencing a loss in Lindsey Nelson, so I wasn't too happy about that. But
Yeah.
you could see Arvidsson was struggling. You could see he couldn't get out of his head. He let him, load the bases before he brought in Rudy. So I think, but after that, guys had a short leash. And I feel like Elander is learning quickly, but at some point, pitchers have to hit their pitches and hitters have to hit. Like, so Kale put up a stat on Sunday evening, and I went to add it to the spreadsheet, and I actually realized that his numbers were slightly off, but looked more generous because he wasn't differentiating between like run rule games and like, when we're the home team and we've already got the lead and don't have a ninth offensive inning. So we have had 253 offensive innings.
Okay.
182 of those, which is 72%, have been scoreless.
Ooh.
That's a rough stat. Now, and rightly so, there's a lot of people, especially looking at our bullpen, right? I saw this stat yesterday. In SEC play, our ERA for our bullpen is 6.62. If you take out Appenzeller's 18.1 scoreless innings and Tegan Kuhn's 1 bullpen appearance, the bullpen ERA jumps up to 11.48.
Yeah, you're not going to win very many ball games giving up that type of run production from your bullpen. And I don't care what level of ball you're playing on. That is gas can alley right there.
Yeah. I mean, and here's the crazy thing. So we've had 292 defensive innings, and 219 of those were scoreless. So 75% of our defensive innings have been scoreless, which means it's a good thing that our starters have been going a lot longer, right?
Yeah. Oh,
Mac
for sure.
had a 7-inning game on Friday. Blanco had one a couple weeks ago. Like, if we didn't have that happening plus Appenzeller, this would look real bad.
Yeah. Yeah. Because we've had some really good starts, even with some of these, losses. We've still had some quality, not quality start per se by definition, MLB quality start, but we've gotten good innings out of our starters, even when we haven't played our best.
Yeah.
But it seems as soon as we turn the ball over to the pen, like, I can't for the life of me fathom giving up 10 runs to LSU
in the 12th.
In the 12th inning. Like, I can't get my mental arms around that. There's no explanation.
And again,
this type of meltdown.
This isn't on E, right? Like, he sends Prince out there, hits the first batter, he pulls him. So
yeah,
it's not like he's leaving guys in too long. It is, and given that this is what I do, like, I genuinely, this is a mental thing right now for these guys, both hitters and then some of the pitchers. I was a little bit surprised that Friday night he brought in Chandler Day. I was a little bit shocked at that, given that up until that point he had pitched like 2 innings total and only in midweeks. Like, nothing like throwing him into the fire. A little bit of a baptism by fire there. But I mean, Friday night he held up decent. Only gave up 1 home run, but he fell apart on Sunday too. So I think Krinzel just needs a full-on mental overhaul. He's got 0 confidence in himself. I actually posted on Twitter last night, like, if E brought me in today, here's exactly what I would do with the team, because Krinzel needs a total mental overhaul. You can tell by the way he walks to the mound that he's already beating himself up and he already doesn't believe in himself. Arvidsson, I think he just needs tools to flush it and reset. And then, our hitters, I'm all for being aggressive at the plate, but it's becoming an issue when a pitcher is already struggling, that they just continue. Myatt and Ford especially just keep going down 0-2 counts, swinging at things in the dirt, swinging at balls up around their neck, right? Like if a pitcher has thrown 4 straight balls, wait for them to throw a strike. Like stop swinging at absolutely everything.
Yeah, and newsflash, guys, if you have an 0-2 count, you're not going to see anything to hit. You're going to get a bunch of garbage. You're going to get a bunch of off-speed stuff. You're going to get stuff off the plate, out of the zone, and we're up there hacking like they're fastballs right down Broadway. And
yeah, I mean,
and it's almost and again, there's so much of this game. We've talked about this before on our show that so much of baseball is, I think it's more mental than any other team sport. You can, individual sports like golf or tennis or bowling, I guess if you're Pete Weber or whatever, but all that stuff is absolutely, it's very mentally challenging. But baseball, team sport wise, is probably the most psychological taxing sport because you see it at every level. Even the bigs, you see pitchers that can't find the strike zone. You see hitters that some days it looks like they're swinging at beach balls. Other days it looks like they're swinging at grains of sand. And mechanics issue or injury issue aside, I mean, I'm telling you the facts. I played all the way into college. It is 100% mental.
Mm-hmm.
And if you go up there thinking that ironically, the Henry Ford quote, whether you think you can or you can't, you're right.
Yeah.
When you go up there feeling defeated or not having any confidence or think I've got to do something, I've absolutely got to, I got to score, I got to get us a run, or I got to knock these guys in. And you just get so consumed that it takes you completely out of your normal routine and you start forcing things and you start doing things you don't normally do.
Yeah.
So, yeah, all that to say 0-2 pitches, guys, you're not going to see anything. Unless it's Paul Skeens up there, you ain't getting a fastball, Jack.
Yeah. I mean,
settle down, Beavis.
I had a couple people in Vol Nation reach out to me Friday night, like, does the school even have a mental coach? So I did some research. There's 2 people. There's a sports psychology grad. He graduated in 1982. He has been the sports psychologist for the whole athletics department since 2002. So I'll just leave that at that. And then there's a clinical social worker, and that's it. But they see the entire sports department. So if it's like the universities I've worked in before, the athletes have to go to them instead of, hey, I specialize in baseball, or I understand how baseball works and let's have this conversation. Right. So they definitely need some mental work for sure.
Yeah.
I mean,
yeah. And some of it's just they get in their head. Some of it is they try to do too much. Some of it is and this came out, and I'm going to get to this in a minute. Some of it is they're not doing enough. I don't know, but whatever it is we're in trouble down the stretch. I mean, at this point, and let's just talk about it real quick. Let's kind of go through. Give me just a second. I got 164 tabs open here. So we played 32 games. We're 20-12. I mean, so that's not terrible, right?
We got Mississippi State this weekend in Starkville, and they're coming off a loss.
Not going to be happy.
Then we do have Ole Miss at home, but again, they've been good this year.
They have been, and they can hit.
And then we have Bama at home. They're up and down.
Yeah, they've been kind of like us to an extent.
Yeah. And we have Kentucky at Kentucky.
I'm worried about that series.
I am too, to be honest.
And normally would not be.
They can be good.
Yeah. If they have enough toys in the dugout, they can cause a problem.
We got Texas at home.
That's the one I'm really worried about. of everybody left. Now, Mississippi State in Starkville, I'm from a series standpoint, I don't see us winning that series. I think we can at least take 2 from Ole Miss. I think we can maybe get 2 from Bama. I don't know about playing at Lexington, and I'm very concerned about playing Texas. I don't care where we play it.
Yeah. And then we've got Oklahoma at Oklahoma.
Again, another one that it's hard to count on or think that we can win that series based on where we are today.
Yeah. I mean, if they were to pull their head out, we definitely have the talent. We need Ford to start hitting consistently. He's been a little all over the place lately.
Yeah. Right now, I mean, between Cam Appenzeller and I think Blake Grimmer, especially coming out of what he did this past week. I mean, all he did was hit 385, knocked in 6, hit 2 home runs, scored 6 runs, 2 home runs, knocked in 4, and had 12 total bases in the 4 games last week.
Yeah.
And he hit at the right time. Both his home runs came in series against LSU.
Yeah. Ford in the last in SEC play, Ford has 10 total hits.
And that's coming from, I'm sorry, but coming from somebody that we felt fortunate, and we are. I'm not going to diss the young man, but this guy was potentially going to be playing Major League Baseball this season.
Yeah, I mean,
and so the expectation, and that's kind of what I wanted to come on. We'll go ahead and talk about it. Like I was going to ask you, based on everything, and we have to take the good and the bad. The talent we had coming in, the Tony Vitello departure at the 11th hour. We keep the hire in the family with Elander, and then we maintain the roster. Nobody left. So coming into it, even though, we did have a couple question marks with, Elander and our pitching coach, with Frank leaving, with Tony, I still felt pretty good about this team.
I mean, the team has the talent, and I honestly think that like next year, if he can keep the guy, we're not going to lose too many guys, right? So if he can keep the majority of them together, they will be a force to reckon with next year, assuming that mentally they can sort things out.
Yeah.
Right.
And I think that is something that can be fixed, like anything, whether it's mechanics or, how you grip the bat or how you let go of the, at what position you let the baseball go out of your hand. Like all that stuff can be corrected. Right. Yeah. But the concern, I guess, is that kind of weighed on me today as I was kind of thinking about, putting some thought into, coming on here with you tonight, is how many of these guys are going to stay? Because some of these guys could have gone pro this past off season. I would think that would still be on the table for some of them.
So I think Ford will be gone. Brown won't be old enough. Clark won't be old enough. I don't think Myatt's going anywhere. We'll obviously lose Chapman. I would say Lawless would be back potentially. We've got depth at catcher, so I would say we lose a catcher. And honestly, at this point, I would say Grinlinger would be the one to keep.
Yes, I would agree.
In terms of guys who can only play catcher, right?
Right.
I'd say Marin's gone. I don't know that Abernathy will go to the draft, but Portal, who knows? Newstrom, I don't think is old enough. Antigua, potentially the Portal. Grinlinger, not old enough. I can't remember about Grimmer. I'm not sure that Wright will go to the draft yet, and he still has another year. So from a hitting perspective, I think we're solid if these guys can mentally get their head around it.
Yeah. So, and that's the hope when, of course, when the the NIL/transfer portal era of college athletics. So you just never know. But I think there's probably a couple guys that may enter the draft. I think there may be a couple guys that leave, and that's just not something we're really accustomed to. Yeah, Chase Burns kind of left to go to the pitching lab. How'd that work out, Chase? But we don't really have guys leave. Like we've always been the vacuum that we go out and of course we're going back to Tony Vitello, but Tony would go out and he'd pretty much get whoever he wanted and let everybody else have what was left. Right.
Yeah.
So that will be a interesting dynamic because we haven't really seen a whole lot in the last several years of people leaving the program.
And I mean, we do know that guys love E, right?
Oh, yeah, because we wouldn't have held this roster together, that we would not have contained that locker room if they didn't believe in him and want to play for him, 100%. Yeah. So everybody that's getting on Coach E about all this stuff, I'm here to tell you, he ain't out there throwing grapefruits over the plate, and he's not the one out there striking out with, he's
not missing middle.
Right. So, he owns some of it, absolutely, with some of his decisions and leaving guys in too long. That seems to be a theme at Tennessee with baseball.
But I feel like he's really sorted that out. I mean, guys have had a real short leash.
Yeah.
So, and then, I mean, from the pitching side, we'll lose Coons, we'll lose Arvidsson, but Mac, Appenzeller, we'll lose Blanco as well. But Mac, Appenzeller, Krenzel.
What about Bo Rudy?
He is, I believe, a junior.
Okay. I could not remember his classification.
I'm not sure that he'll go. I mean, maybe he will. Up until this weekend, he was throwing well.
Yeah.
And we'll lose Hindi as well. But, I mean, I feel like we've got a good core coming back next year in terms of pitchers. And then, we just signed the other Grindlinger, who's one of the top pitching like lefties in California. So I think that's going to be I think it's inexperience and his lack of leadership, right? We've got a lot of underclassmen. The people who have SEC experience minus Chapman are all underclassmen. So that's the other thing is the ACC is not the SEC. And it doesn't matter how well you did in the ACC. We're seeing now that Ford and Brown are two top hitters who I'm so glad on Sunday that E at least split them up in the lineup because in SEC play, they both have 10 hits apiece.
And that's you just can't have that.
And when they're both striking out back-to-back or grounding out back-to-back, it was like earlier in the season having Antigua and Newstrom back-to-back. Like it was just an automatic 2 outs. So, but I really think it's a mental piece. I mean, the talent is there. We know the talent is there. We know what these guys can do. We just have to get them out of their heads. And I think there's, whether people want to say it or not, I'm starting to think that they don't necessarily trust the next guy coming up to do his job. And so they're trying to do it all.
Well, when you look at how many runners we've left on base and how many runners we've left on base in scoring position, that's understandable.
So to come to those stats, a total of 209 left stranded, 91 have been left stranded in SEC play, which is 44%.
A little under half.
In scoring position, runners in scoring position, we've had a total of 120, 43 of those in SEC play. So 36%. And then, when we start looking at how many runs we actually lost by, like Georgia, we had 1, 5, and 3 runners left in scoring position. Mizzou, we had 6, 4, and 1. Vandy, we had 4, 0, and 7. There have been some days where we've struggled to get base runners.
Yeah.
And then, against LSU, 5, 4, and 3. So
basically every game we had an opportunity in every game.
Yeah, except one.
Just couldn't. Yeah, except one. We got hammered pretty good.
And the top three who are striking out with runners in scoring position or going out with runners in scoring position as the third out is Marin 12 times, Chapman 11, and Ford 10.
Wow.
So
yeah, we were pinning everybody was pinning all that on poor Ariel Antigua early in the season. And
he's only, with runners in scoring position, he's only been the third out 4 times.
Yeah.
Now, granted, he hasn't played as many innings, but
yeah, because he was starting and playing more at the beginning of the season. So he was leading that charge early, but he gave that up in spades as of late. So I don't know if you saw this. It was an article that I ran across that apparently Trent Grinlinger met with reporters after the loss to LSU and kind of offered an explanation to some of the issues that we've been running into. And I'm going to read this in quote. "We got out of the gate hot," said Grinlinger when asked about Tennessee only collecting 5 hits in 12 innings on Sunday. I think we kind of just got complacent, just kind of let innings go by. But other than that, I thought we competed well. End of quote.
Yeah, a lot of people are not happy about that quote. Rightfully so.
Right, because, it's kind of like, yes, I know they're college students. I know they're student athletes. But they're also, the majority of these guys are also getting a paycheck, right? And you can't just decide when you want to play, when you don't want to play. You can't, quote, just kind of let innings go by. Because when you do that, you blow 5-0 leads in rubber games to Georgia. You blow 15-10 leads in the 9th inning of a rubber game against Vanderbilt. And you give up 10 freaking runs in the 12th inning against LSU. So for everybody that's been riding and calling, I mean, it's gotten to the point where people are even saying that Elander's not it and all this other garbage. And I'm just stop. Stop it. Get some help, to quote Michael Jordan. Something's got to change in the attitude. And it's not just about a mental reset or a psychological roadblock. I mean, you got to care every out, every inning, every at bat, every pitch. You've got to care about what you're doing, because I don't care how talented you are. That is not a recipe for success.
Well, and this is where the leadership comes in, right? Like, there's nobody saying, like, hey, get your head in it. Like, stop messing around, stop whatever, focus and go out there and do your job. Like, nobody is, that I've seen, nobody's really stepping up in the dugout to do that.
Yeah. And I know Tony and Josh are completely polar opposites. Probably one reason they worked so well together for so long.
Yeah.
I think a player under Vitello comes out and says something like that, I think Tony handles it a certain way versus how Josh has probably handled it. And he did indirectly speak to it. He said, quote, "Our guys need to manage everything that comes with a Sunday SEC game a little bit better. And it starts with me. I have to make sure that we're putting them in a position to do that," unquote. Well, Coach, my putting them in a position to do that would be to run their tails until I threw up.
Yeah.
Or whatever that looks like to get them refocused and back in the game. Because we can talk about the mechanics and the batting practice and the pitching, coaches, and we can talk about the psychological aspect and the mental and getting out of your own head. Stuff like that right there, that would not be going on. Yeah. There would not be a mentality that says, oh, well, we got a lead, we're going to, take our foot off the gas.
Yeah.
Can't do that in the SEC. It can absolutely change on a dime.
Yeah. which
we saw it against LSU.
Which we've seen 6 games in a row now. So
yeah. So I don't know what kind of wake up call it's going to take to get that issue corrected, but that needs to be fixed first and foremost above everything else.
And I think part of that as well is like guys, he needs to let guys know, like, I'll drop you in the lineup.
Exactly.
I'll take you out. Like, I don't care if you are Henry Ford. I will put someone else at third base, knowing that we're going to lose the game if it's going to help you pull your head out.
Yeah, I don't care if you're Gerald Ford. I will sit you down if you're not playing hard and you're not engaged and you're not doing what you're supposed to be doing as a teammate and as a ball player. So I don't – and obviously that came from a player. That's not speculation. That's not a reporter. That's not some dude that overheard some conversation. That was point blank reporter and player, and the player said that to the reporter. So this isn't something that was fabricated. This isn't something that somebody read anything into.
Oh, no, I've seen the video. I watched the words come out of his own mouth.
Exactly. So this is a direct quote. So that, to me, right now, we can put everything else on the back burner. That has got to be the burning issue that gets addressed. And there would not be enough practices, and there would not be enough calisthenics, we'll call it, to make me satisfied until I start seeing difference on the field. It would be rough. So anyway, I'll get off my horse and soapbox and put the stick away and stop beating it because it I don't know. It's just stuff like that though, man. Ma'am, sorry.
You're good.
Stuff like that just it burns me up because I am competitive with shopping carts and I won't let a bug get to the line before I do. I don't know. I'm just everything I do, I just try to do the best I can. I've always practiced hard, played hard, worked hard. It's just it's a choice, man. It's not even work ethic. Yeah, it's a thing, but you have to choose. You have to decide that you're going to do that. You're going to put in the effort. You're going to give your all for Tennessee, as it's said. And I don't care if you're up 20 runs, get up 21.
Yeah.
So anyway, I'll shut up about that.
The one bright spot is definitely Appenzeller. I mean, I felt awful for Mac on Friday night. 7 awesome innings and then came to that. But Appenzeller is currently sitting 9th in the country in ERA with a 1.15 ERA, and he is 3rd in the SEC.
Yeah, that's phenomenal.
He's had 31.1 innings pitched. He's given up 4 runs, which were earned, but none of those in SEC play. So
yeah,
I'm excited to watch his growth.
Yeah, he has been outstanding the second half of the season. What we really need you to be. Some of that needs to rub off on. I don't know. Do we need to get some chickens and Joe Boo or something and get out there in the dugout or the bullpen? I don't know. Whatever it takes at this point. But goodness gracious,
Elander, if you're watching this, I can start tomorrow.
There you go.
Let me whip them into shape mentally.
Yeah. And if you need somebody to run some practice drills, I can take. I got like 10 weeks of vacation, so I can burn a few days, Coach. I'll be glad to come out there and jerk some knot and some tails. I've seen me do it. So all right, so we'll move on. As I said a minute ago, we are perfect in midweek games, 8-0. In the 8 wins, we've outscored our opponents 83-20, and we've yet to allow more than 4 runs to a midweek opponent. So then that makes me scratch my head too, Tiffany, because we throw bullpen games in the midweek. And I understand that Northern Kentucky's hitters and Austin Peay's hitters are not SEC caliber talent. I understand that. But we see what these guys do against SEC caliber talent, and they get drilled. So I'm kind of struggling to understand why we just the wheels fall off in when these guys come out of the bullpen on the weekend. But in any event, they've done a really good job overall through the midweek. Northern Kentucky this year, they're not great. They're 13-17 overall. They're 6-6 in league play. Last year they were actually a pretty good team. Last year we faced them in April 29th. Was the last game. We won 7-5 in a midweek, so they were a little scrappy. We played 4 times total. In the 4 games, Tennessee has outscored Northern Kentucky 49-9. So outside of that 7-5 game last year, they have only scored 4 runs against us, and 3 of those came in the regional in 2024. So there's really no reason why we can't just pound these guys into oblivion. And it would be a great time to get some bats hot and to get some kinks worked out of some pitchers' heads before we have to go down to Starkville. So I don't see this Northern Kentucky team anyway being a threat to our perfect midweek streak. And everybody last year was losing their minds when we drop a midweek game. I'll gladly drop a midweek game or 2 the rest of the way if we can at least win some series down the stretch.
Yeah.
It looks like they are going to throw MJ Castaneda. He's had 9 appearances. He started 1 game. He's 1-0 on the season with a 5.65 ERA. So gas can potential is there if we can jump on him early and force him to go to some of their other bullpen guys. We've got Ethan going. He's appeared in 6 games. He's started 1. He's 1-0, 5.63 ERA. So both these guys are potentially could give up some damage. But I just got to believe that even with some of our struggles at the plate, I think we can generate enough offense to put these guys away and hopefully get something going and some momentum going to get us ready for what is going to be an absolute monster in Mississippi State. They're a top 10 team. We all know all too well that Duty Noble Field is loud and big, and they pack it out because there's nothing else to do in Starkville, Mississippi. I know for a fact. I used to cover that area. And we get to be showcased on SEC Network Plus for these games as well. So
Awesome.
Big stage that we have to play on. What are your thoughts, Tiffany, going into Starkville this weekend?
Well, I'm just pulling up their.
They're good. Let's put it that way.
So I said that Appenzeller was number 3, but they have the number 2 guy in the SEC who's top. I think he's like number 6 in the country ERA wise. So, I mean, it's going to be tough. We know that they can hit. I mean, again, I know we have the talent to beat them, but whether or not that talent shows up on such a big stage, who knows? So I'm just looking now at their roster.
Yeah, I'm pulling up some team stuff while you do that because I'm curious about a couple things.
So they're wondering if their Friday night guide changed. So they may have changed out their Friday night guide 2 weeks ago, but let's see. The guy that's thrown on Friday night the last 2 weeks, he has got, let's see what his ERA is.
Yeah. Well, team ERA, they are number 8 in the nation at a 3.14. They are only behind Auburn and Texas in the SEC in team ERA. So pitching is very good.
Yeah, so the guy we'll likely see on Friday, he's pitched 19 innings, 19 hits, 15 runs, 11 earned. He's got a 5.21 ERA. Now, he's the one that started the last 2 games against Ole Miss and Georgia.
Right.
So we'll see if they start him again on Friday. Their Saturday guy, if I can pull him up here, is Valencius, I think is how you say his name. He's pitched 19 innings. Oh, no, that's it. What? Is he hit as well? What? Maybe I pulled up the wrong guy. Oh, I did. It looks like there's 2 of them on the team. His brother's a hitter. So the Saturday night guy, his stats are 47 innings pitched, 28 hits, 8 runs, 6 earned. He's got a 1.15 ERA. So he's like Appenzeller, basically. And then their Sunday guy is Stone. And he is a 36 innings, 30 hits, 18 runs, 15 earned, and a 3.75 ERA. So need to win Friday. Yeah. Need to win Friday for sure.
Yeah. Saturday sounds like it's going to be very difficult to generate much offense against what sounds like their ace.
It sounds like it's going to be a pitching duel on Saturday if that's where they keep Appenzeller. So it'll be 1.5 ERA versus 1.5 ERA.
Yeah. And mentioned they're 8th in the nation in team ERA. They are 10th in the nation and in team on-base percentage. They find themselves on base for a little over 44% of plate appearances, which is very strong. Georgia Tech leads the nation at only 48.5%. So, and this team also, they can hit for power. They've got 47 on the season, but they generate a lot of small ball offense. They get guys on base. They get timely hits. I mean, our guys are really going to have to come out and our pitchers are going to have to be on. They're going to have their stuff, and we can't have the mental mistakes and the errors and hold the ball too long and just making bad decisions. It's going to take a solid weekend of being engaged and focused and not getting lax, because they're not going to get lax about in this one.
Yeah. I mean, there's going to have to – can you still hear me? I think my video might be frozen, but –
Yeah, I can hear you.
I also just like smarter at bats, like situational hitting, like we've talked about every week.
It seems like it's a broken record, but until it changes, we're going to keep spinning it.
And maybe don't swing at the first pitch when it's, so.
And if you're down 0-2, don't swing at pitch 3 because it's probably not going to be in the zone. The other thing that concerns me a little bit because of what we just talked about, Mississippi State is 4th in the nation in strikeouts per 9 innings at just over 12. LSU is also very good. They are 3rd at just under 13 at 12.8. So back-to-back weekends, we're facing some fireballers. So you cannot emphasize and underline and bold italic, whatever, what you just said about discipline at the plate. It's going to be critical, especially on Saturday. And they're good enough that they can blow this thing out. I mean, if they get hot and start getting a good eye on what our guys are throwing, they can get up in a hurry. One thing that I am, because there's been a lot of negativity, I understand that, because unfortunately the issues are more glaring than what the successes have been. But one thing that's great to see, and that's fielding percentage. Tennessee is 8th in the country at .985, and the top team in the nation is only at .987 ahead. So from a fielding perspective, one of the things that we've lamented early in the season, we seem to have corrected that for the most part. We do have it's just, I think, like a lot of things that's been with this team this year is it's not so much how much it happens as when it happens. Like it's at the most inopportune time. So all that said, we're really gonna have some things go our way this weekend to find our second series win of the season in conference.
Crazier things have happened. Mizzou took the series against Kentucky on the weekend. So
Mizzou winning anything is crazy things can happen. But yeah, so tomorrow should be hopefully let's get some things right game. I don't think we're fixing everything in a Tuesday evening game against Northern Kentucky, but maybe we can see some development and some progression and get some traction, especially with our bullpen, and whoever needs innings, let's get them some innings, because at this point this game is meaningless because we can't close out at least a couple of these SEC series the rest of the way. We got no shot of even looking at postseason. Our postseason is going to be at Daytona Beach or Panama City or something. That's where we're going for the postseason.
Yeah.
So hopefully we see some things break our way for a change, and our boys find a little fire to go down there and take on some angry Bulldogs. They're not going to be happy. So.
Well, we shall see how they can regroup after 2 butt whoopings 2 weekends in a row. Yeah.
And it's extremely talented team. We knew coming into the season they would be in the hunt, in the conversation with Texas and Georgia and the other top tier teams for this season. So, and they're still very much in the thick of it. It's still a top 10 team. So don't sleep on them just because they've had a little stretch of bad luck. So, well, is there anything else that we can complain about for tonight?
I think we nailed it. I mean, unless you want to talk about Estrella and Boswell leaving.
Well, we can. I was hoping I reached out to Josh because, we do have a basketball game tonight, I hear, that
started 9 minutes ago.
Yep. So that's why I was trying to cut it short tonight, but we just had too much that we needed to cover in a short amount of time. So I'm always for our guys. I fully support our team, our players, anybody that puts that jersey on, regardless of anything else, you're a Vol, I'm going to pull for you. I'm going to be honest, I'm not upset that JP left. I wouldn't have been overly thrilled if he'd stayed. I would have just been okay with either outcome. We kind of talked about it on the Heavy Pour show. That T and I both kind of agreed that he is probably going to get some offers. He's probably going to get some money or want some money that he thinks he can get elsewhere.
Apparently, $3 million to Indiana.
Yeah, and that's fine. I mean, JP, go get you a bag buddy. I mean, that's fine. No hard feelings. I don't blame you. If somebody called me up to tomorrow and offered me $3 million to go work for somebody else, I'd be getting a U-Haul this weekend. So I get it, but I think we're doing a little bit of roster housekeeping. We see this in professional sports all the time, where we kind of have what we call cap casualties, where we got to make some room. We got to get some money freed up. So, I mean, I'm sorry. I just don't think JP Estrella is worth $3 million. Would I like to have had him? Sure, because we lose Felix, and then Cade decides that he's not coming back, and that's unfortunate. He was one guy I really had high hopes for based on the situation that we were going to be in coming into the season, but he's chosen to go elsewhere. Boswell, I really like Bishop Boswell. He played a great role in taking over that spot from Jemiah from last several years. But it was very evident to me in the Elite Eight game. We have to have scorers. We can't have a scorer. We can't have just a Dalton Connect or a Chaz Lanier or a Jacoby Gillespie. We've got to have multiple guys. We've got to have a wing out there that can drive to the hoop, that can step back three. We've got to have a rim protector like Felix. That's going to be very crucial for this team. And we got to have a two guard that can score. Like, we've got to have multiple scoring options. That's why you have Michigan in this championship game, is because everybody on that team can score.
That's been my complaint the last couple of years. Every year we get to Sweet 16, Elite Eight, and we have one guy that can score, and the other team's defense figures out how to shut us down.
Yep.
And we can't do it.
100%. And I think that's where I think we're seeing some changes to the roster with the departures we've had. I think we definitely need to try to keep Amari Evans. I think we definitely need to try to keep Brown.
Yeah.
And if that costs us a little bit of money, fine, so be it. But I think, and I said this to the guys, our little group chat, Rando and T and everybody, and then I posted it on one of Rando's posts when he's like, "What's going on in Knoxville?" I think Deacon Barnes is about to have some church up in that portal, Tiffany. I think we're about to see a major play by Rick Barnes, because
he's sick of the no Final Four jokes.
Yeah, for two reasons. One, he took this team, no disrespect, but he took this team to the Elite Eight.
Yeah.
A team that some people were talking middle of conference play, if we would even make the tournament. And we wind up in the Elite Eight and just absolutely ran into a buzzsaw. And it exposed exactly what we've been lamenting all year, is we only got a couple guys that can score. And it's not the same couple guys. It's Jacoby Gillespie and whoever happens to be able to have a good matchup or something the rest of the time. It was never consistently. It wasn't consistently Felix. It wasn't consistently Boswell. It wasn't consistently Carey. Each one of them had flashes throughout the season, but nobody was a consistent 15, 17, 18, 20-point scorer. Once Nate Ament figured out how to play in the SEC, that changed.
Mm-hmm.
But Nate, he's gone. Everybody it'd be nice. It would be nice to have him back for one more year. But there's no way that boy's coming back to Tennessee.
Yeah.
He's going to be playing in the NBA next year, period. So I think Coach Barnes knows the window is starting to get small for him, because unfortunately, Father Time is undefeated.
That's true.
And I mean, I can't say enough good things about Coach Barnes and how much respect I have for him. And regardless of what people want to throw out there with Final Fours, national championship, all this other crap, he is one of the all-time elite coaches in college basketball. There's a lot of great coaches that come and go that don't win championships. He's one of them. If it never happens, then he's still going to go down as one of the greats. We need to embrace this time and enjoy this time, because we're not going to have him much longer. And I think that's part of this big push as well, is he knows that window's closing for him. And only he knows. God and Rick Barnes are the only two people that know when Rick Barnes is going to hang it up.
Yeah.
But we can all do the math. Coach Barnes is 71, 72.
Yeah, around there.
So he's not a spring chicken. We've seen plenty of coaches retire before this point. So I think the urgency is there. I think he's willing to do not necessarily whatever it takes, but I think he's willing to change based on what we've seen from the elite teams, and that's elite scorers. You can be good on defense, but you have to be elite scoring. Because we've been elite on defense for the past 3 or 4 years, and we keep hitting the same roadblock. We've got to have guys that can score. So I'm really more interested and engaged in this transfer portal for basketball this year than I've probably been in several years. Because I think Rick Barnes is about to light the grill and start cooking.
Yeah, well, portal opens tomorrow, right? So
it does. Yeah, it does. So
I'm ready
really excited to see what Coach Barnes and company do. The list is lengthy now, with as many departures as we've had, but that's just college athletics in general, basketball especially. I mean, we've seen the Lady Vols' entire roster turnover. That's another story. I'm not even going to get into that. But year in, year out, I mean, we saw Kansas lose their entire front court this week. And you never see Kansas. Kansas is one of those places that everybody wants to go play. Nobody wants to leave Kansas. And I know the Bill Self situation has got some people kind of up in arms, and maybe there's smoke to the fire of he won't be there when the season tips off in the fall. Yeah. But regardless, you just don't see a mass exodus out of a blue blood school like Kansas. So it's just the landscape of college athletics. And I think if anybody can navigate and put together a roster of the right players, maybe not the best players, but the right players, I have full confidence that it's Rick Barnes. So I'm really excited to see what they do in the coming days. So I'm glad you brought that up. I'm glad we got to talk about that.
Yeah, I'm excited. I know he's going to cook. So, and I mean, they've already said Tennessee is going to be one of the biggest spenders in the portal this year. So,
yeah. I got a little source, and I'm not revealing it because they'll never tell me a thing again. And I can't substantiate this. This is just a little bird. We're looking at upwards of $15 million, and we were just under $10 million this season.
Yeah.
In NIL. So I think it's what it's going to take. I mean, it's going to take that type of bankroll and salary cap situation to legitimately have a shot to get over that Final Four hump. And if anybody deserves it, my goodness, it's Rick Barnes. I would say that if he was coaching anywhere.
Yeah.
I'm just so grateful that we have him. So great. Do you have a pick for tonight? Who you think's going to win?
Can I pick the asteroid? I mean,
that was my choice, to be honest.
I don't know that anybody can beat Michigan. Like, they are just, they're good.
I didn't expect us to win that game, but I thought we could at least be competitive with them. And if some things went right for us, that we might have a shot down the stretch. Nothing went right for us in that game. They made us look very inept.
I felt a little bit better with how they manhandled Arizona, though.
And that's what I was just about to say. Then they turn right around and do the same thing to Arizona. And some people may forget back February, March. Well, no, let's say January, February. I mean, this team was beating people by 40 plus.
At one point I had Arizona taking the whole thing. So
I did too. That was my pick. I had Arizona, and shamefully will admit this. I had two brackets. One I had Arizona, and the other I had Florida, which I was never happier to tear up a bracket, throw it in the trash as I was that one. It's always nice to see the lot lizards lose, but I was very high on Arizona, and Michigan absolutely made them look silly. So as good as Dan Hurley is and has been, and his record in the tournament is ridiculous when you look at it from an odds perspective. He is like some stupid like 18-3 against the spread. It may not even be that bad. It may be like 18-1 against the spread. The guy just knows how to win in the tournament. He's looking for his third natty in 4 years. So, and Yaxel's a little dinged up. So can't ever count him out, but I'm going to have a real hard time sitting here expecting anything other than Michigan to hoist this trophy and cut down those nets tonight. But I'm with you, Asteroid option C.
Yeah. So, all right. Well, fantastic. Thank you so much. I told you, I said off air, we probably need to keep it about 30 minutes. And here we've gone just over the hour mark. So thank you for hanging in there and complaining and listening to me soapbox for the better part of that. But it's always great to have you on. I always enjoy our time and look forward to hopefully some better days. We come back next week and we can talk about how we took the series from Mississippi State. So let's do it. That's what I'm manifesting.
There we go. We'll just speak it into existence.
That's right.
All right. Fantastic. Well, thank you everyone for tuning in. Thank you, Tiffany. Be sure to follow Tiffany. See her Twitter handle there at Vol212320. Of course, most of you already follow me. Subscribe to the YouTube channel. Subscribe to the Heavy Pour Sports YouTube. There's all kinds of great stuff on there and rando. So really appreciate everybody stopping by, supporting us. Thank you so much. God bless. And we will see you next week.